Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, here with the fifth club going to explain about our topic for today, that is about procedures for comparing language. It's gonna be presented by me, myself, Rifdatul Qomariyah, Silviana Qomariyah, also Waliyul Hasanah. So stay tuned on our explanation. Okay, let's get started. Procedures for comparing languages. It means that the contrastive analysis will be based on the assumptions of the language that can be compared and contrasted. Where it's gonna talk about two languages, where it's gonna be compared and contrasted. This comparison is done by the language to render descriptive accounts of the learner's native language and the target language on the various linguistic levels such as phonology, morphology, syntax, lexis, and also pragmatic. Based on James in 19th and 19th century, doing a contrastive analysis will involve two steps. Those are descriptions and also comparison. Then, however, there are 5 different steps that have been mentioned in the literature for the contrastive analysis, where it talks about the comparing and contrasting two languages. For the first is selections, for the second is description, for the third is comparisons, for the fourth is prediction, and the last is verification. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first is about the selections. Okay, what is that selections? You can see in the slide that here means that comprehensive comparisons of two languages for the pedagogical purpose is neither feasible or non-feasible. It means that certain areas of difficulty in the target language are selected based on the analysis prior teachings, experience, or maybe a bilingual intuitions or prior analysis of errors of the learners. Since like it seems their native language, that is the compared and contrast with the parallel in the learners of native language. Okay, go on. Second is about descriptions. After the selections or certain linguistic items, the structures or rules, the two languages are explicitly described in equations. Scientific parallel descriptions of the two languages has always been the core of the contrastive analysis. The two languages should be described through the same linguistic models or the framework. For example, in certain aspects of the grammars of first language are described through generative and transformational grammars, but the same model for the descriptions of the second language should be applied as well. For the next step is comparison. What is that comparisons? Okay, it means that the subsystems of the two languages are juxtaposed in order to find similarities and the differences between them or between the two languages itself, where the linguistic features of the two languages are compared on 3 levels in these steps. First is from the forms of the language, from the meaning of the language itself, and from the distributions of the. Here is the fourth step, that is prediction, where predictions are made about the difficulties learners that may come across in the acquiring the second language. That you can see in the slide, the analysis should judge whether similarities and the differences that found through the comparisons of the two constructive analysis and error analysis languages, where those are problematic for the learners or not. Predictions can be arrived at through the formulation of a hierarchy of difficulty. These similarities and differences found through the comparisons of the two languages should be judged to see if they are problematic for the learners or not, where the predictions are made through the formulations of the hierarchy of the difficulty. Last step, it's about verifications, where after the first step, the last is verifications. After judging, in this final test, the analysis needs to find out whether the prediction made about the errors and the difficulties actually materialize or not. It's verified means the act or the process of confirming or checking the accuracy of the state of being confirmed or having the accuracy of checked. That was the last step. It's about verifications. Okay guys, that's all that we can explain about the process of the procedures of comparing languages. So in this case, we have already talked about the 5 procedures how to compare two languages. Hopefully it will be beneficial. Thanks for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.